All right, welcome back everyone. Today, we're diving into the underbelly of digital security, particularly focusing on something called Active Directory. Think of it as the backbone of most Windows networks. It's where all the magic happens. There's plenty of room for both attackers and defenders. So let's call this episode Cyberbank, Attacking and Defending Active Directory.
Ooh, that sounds super thrilling. But just to clarify, why is Active Directory so crucial in the first place?
Great question. Active Directory, or AD for short, is essentially a directory service. Picture it like a big library that organizes all your books, except the books are user accounts, computers, and resources. It manages permissions and access for users. Basically, if you need access to anything on the network, AD is the entity granting you that permission. It's pervasive across organizations and critical for any security strategy.
Wow, okay. So if someone were to penetrate this library, they could just get into any book, right? What kind of methods do they use to attack it?
Absolutely. Now, there are several methodologies. Let's break it down. One common attack tactic is what's called domain enumeration. Imagine a thief scoping out the library. They'd start gathering intel to see what valuable assets are inside. They'll check for user accounts, groups, and connected devices without necessarily triggering any alarms initially.
Oh, so it's like seeing all the exit routes before making any moves, huh? But isn't there, a huge risk to that?
Exactly. It gets tricky here. You want to keep a minimal footprint, kind of like a ninja in a library. If they're too loud, the librarian, or in our case, the security system, is going to catch on. Once attackers enumerate the domain, they can move on to escalation techniques, ways to switch from standard user access to, say, a local administrator.
Local admin? Sounds like having the keys to the library. What's the trick to doing that?
Haha, yes. The keys to the kingdom. Attackers might exploit weak passwords or service account permissions, often overlooked but can lead to higher-level access if not managed properly. It's like finding out that one of the janitors has the keys to all the restricted areas because they did a shoddy job with password policies.
Yikes. So if they get in, they can just, open up everything? Are there actually defenses against that?
Definitely. Organizations must employ strong mitigation strategies. For instance, they should implement policies such as using the protected users group. It's akin to having VIP patrons who require extra checks whenever they try to access specific, sensitive materials in our library.
Wow, I must say, the library analogy is really fresh. But, what if someone is already in and doesn't want to get caught? What are the stealth tactics they use?
Oh, that's a critical part of the discussion. Maintaining stealth is paramount in any operation. Attackers often use application whitelisting evasion tactics. It's like having a library that only allows certain books to be read. But sneaky individuals might find ways to exploit loopholes in that system to read what they want without the librarian knowing.
So, it's about finding ways around those checks. I remember watching a movie where hackers just hacked the fire alarms to cause a distraction. Would that be similar?
Exactly. That's a classic distraction tactic. But let's not get too sidetracked. There are defensive mechanisms organizations can implement. Consistent monitoring with effective logging helps detect unusual activities. Think of it like having a CCTV system in the library. It's hard to sneak in and mess around when you know you're being watched.
Haha, right. So it's about creating a balance? How do they stay ahead of potential threats like you're saying?
Continuous learning and adaptation. Cybersecurity is an ever-evolving field, like the genres of books in that library, where new titles come out all the time. Professionals need to stay current with trends and emerging threats. This keeps them one step ahead of those who would break in. Ultimately, it's all about being proactive rather than reactive.
I love that. So it's a constant race, huh? Searches for new techniques, updating defenses, just kind of battling with the latest criminal in a detective story?
Exactly. It's a thrilling journey as well, navigating through those ever-changing challenges. Speaking of which, anyone interested in digging deeper into these topics, feel free to reach out to chat more. There's so much more to explore. Thanks for tuning in.
Laughs. Wow, what a wild ride. Can't wait to hear more in future episodes.